Hi, and welcome to this tutorial by River City Graphics. Today I'm going to be showing you some general button properties like how to create a rollover, how to create like a down state, and using the hit state also. So to start us off, let's just create our button by going to the rectangle tool, and then you can add some curves to the corners by going to this little arrow here and dragging it up. Pretty much the higher you go, the more curved it is. So I'm just going to put it at let's see, like 15, 16 is fine. So just drag out a rectangle, and there's a good rectangle, which is white. So hold on, let me delete that real quick. Let me put out one that is blue. So here we go. Here's a blue rectangle. Now I'm just going to get my text tool. It's on white, 35 Times New Roman. And I'm just going to type some, well, the color just changed to blue. Let's turn it to white. And I'm going to say, press me, exclamation point. And that's going to be our text that's going to go on the button. So I'm just positioning this with the arrow keys. And then I'm just going to select both of them by being on your selection tool and then just going over both. And now what we're going to do is actually convert this into a button, because you can't really do anything with it right now. It's just a shape and some text. So make sure you hit F8. And a box comes up where you can convert it to a symbol, and you have movie clip, button, and graphic. Make sure it's on button, and then just type in something like my button, or you can label it BTN1 or whatever you're going to use for your project. But I'm just going to say my button. So click OK. Now I have my button. It's all in one. You have or it says press me, and the text and the shape are all one thing. So to actually apply things to this button, we're going to double click, and that brings us into this layer. It's actually like inside the button, and it says up, over, down, and hit. So basically the up state is what you see all the time. Well, not all the time, but like in general purposes, like if it's like just sitting there on a website or in your application and no one's touching it, no one's clicking it, no one's like rolling over it, then it's just going to look like this. So it's just going to be the up state. The over state is when someone rolls over it with their mouse. That's what's going to happen. The down state is when someone actually clicks it, and the hit state I'll get to in a little bit. So just go to your first little frame here with the up state and do right click copy frames, and then paste it onto the over and down states. So now what I'm going to do is go into the over state, and we're going to change this color. So I'm just going to click on the rectangle, and then I'm going to change the color to a lighter blue. So now you can see that it changes a little bit, and that's what it's going to do when we roll over it. So I'm just going to take this and copy the frame and put it on the down state too. That way it's the same. So now let's go back to scene 1 by clicking right here. And we're going to do control test movie. So now when I roll over it, you can see that this is showing our rollover, so it goes from dark to light. You can also do this with the text, but I just want to do the rectangle. So now I'm just going to double click this to explain the hit state to you. The hit state is pretty much where the rollover happens, like where you can actually click the button is the hit state. So like if we put the hit state over here and clicked it, there doesn't really have to be anything there. This button would do something over here. Like if we rolled over the hit state over here, the button would be rolled over here. But generally with shapes like this one is, the hit state is the side of the button, so we don't really need to mess with anything on this one. So I'm going to show you an example of when you'd use that now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come out and make it text, just make some more text. I'm going to go back down and use Webdings. As you might have remember from my previous tutorial, let's go to like 150 and put the font color on, let's do these 6s. So now I'm just going to type 3, actually let's do 4. So let's say we want to use this forward button, or this as a play button, like we did in my previous tutorial with the image gallery. So you probably didn't notice any problem with the last tutorial, but if you were to use that same button and there was to be a button underneath it, then you would have some serious issues because of the hit state. Because as it is right now, the hit state, it shows just this text right here, and you'd think that the triangle would be, when you roll over that, that's where the hit state is, but actually it's all the way out to this line here. So if you moved right here, then the button would change colors or do whatever you set it to. So it's kind of weird, and it'll actually interfere with other things later. So basically what I'm going to do is just hit F8, and I'm going to hit F8, and then I'm going to say my button 2. Click OK, and then double click, and I'm just going to do copy frames, and I'm just clicking control on all those, and I'm going to do paste frames. So, oh, well, it didn't want to paste frames. So just go onto them individually and do paste frames. So now what we're going to do is, you see the upstate, and then you have the overstate. Let's actually change the color of the overstate. So I'm just going to make it a lighter gray, so you can see it changes like that. I'm just going to show you kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do Control Test Movie, and now you can see when I'm all the way out here, the button is changing color. So that's pretty weird. Like, see this one, I can get up and touch it, and when I touch it, that's when it changes. But this one, it's all the way out here. So we're going to change that with the hit state. So I'm just going to copy the overstate onto there too, so that when we click it, it's the same as the overstate. Okay, so the hit state, basically what we're going to do is grab your rectangle tool, and we're going to just change it to some like vibrant green. And what I'm going to do is just get right up next to it. Whoops, let's undo the rectangle and actually make it so that it's not curved corners, because let's type in 0, because that would be a problem. So I'm going to go over this with the green. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that then I can actually see my gray. And so now here's my gray, my static text, and I'm just going to delete that. So basically all we need is the green. Okay? So you're probably like, what the heck is the green doing? Am I actually going to see that? And the answer is no, you're not going to see that. See, when we do Control Test Movie now, see, it no longer changes out here. It actually changes when we touch the green. So now the only part that's really not supposed to be changing is this right here, and you can actually use your selection tool to get rid of that. But I'm just demonstrating the hit state to you, so I'm not really actually going to go into that. But you could actually cut these corners and make it fit perfectly to your shape or to your text. So generally, or basically, this is how you just work with buttons. If you were going to add an action script to them, you'd want to give them an instance name like BTN1 for that one and BTN2, and then you could link them to things, or well, basically open websites or do whatever you want with them. But this will get you started with just creating some rollovers. You can create menus like that, or do whatever your heart desires. So just make sure that you subscribe, rate, and comment, and I will see you next week. Thanks.